6 o'clock on the drop, and my drop top using the streets. Got radios beeping me. Oh damn, she can hear me. All right. Welcome to the Sabby and Jaybe show. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Sabby and Jaybe show on Revolutionary Blackout Network. You guys can catch us every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am James Fauntleroy, one of your hosts. Sabs, good to see you.
What's going on, JB? It's interesting. We were circling back to this topic again.
Interesting, right? And we talked about this months ago. And so let me get through all the introductory stuff first. And then I also have a disclaimer to say to everybody. Why don't we get that? Then we'll get started. So just to let you guys know, if you guys have not already, you guys can actually go to our Substack at revolutionaryblackout.substack.com. So you guys are notified of all of our clips as well as all of our live streams that we may upload on a periodic basis. Also, if you guys have not already, then you guys can also subscribe if you guys would like. Just as an aside, also, we also do fundraising for our graphics designer, Aaron. You guys can go to Venmo at Revolutionary Blackout or Cash App $mutual aid forever. And just a special shout out to Erin. Her husband is going through some medical difficulties. And so just to let Erin know that we are with her and we hope that everything turns out okay. So just to give a loving shout out to Erin as well. Also, just want to give a big shout out to Sabby as well, because you had revealed something on Twitter about last week about finding out that you went for a surgery.
Yeah, I mean, some of my viewers knew about it because I talked to them about it on Call In. But yeah, Friday morning I had to have surgery. So I was pretty down for the count for the weekend. So I slept a lot over the weekend. But yeah, I had to have a surgical procedure basically for them to test part of my tissue just to make sure that it was non-cancerous. So then I had to wait for the test results to come back. So that was the other thing, is the waiting. But the good news is that it came back all clear. So I don't have to stress over that anymore. So it's good. I don't have to stress over that.
Yeah. So I am so grateful that it came back negative, Sabs. You have no idea. I would have been on the first. Well, I would have tried to at least, dance in the club and try to make as much money as I could to get on a plane to get over there to Boston just to see you. But trust and believe that, I am so grateful for that. So thank you so very much for letting us know that it was negative, Sabs. And we're, shout out to you and good health to you as well. So just wanted to say that.
Thanks.
Also, just to anybody knows, you're doing your event this Saturday, as far as the clothing and food drive, right?
Yeah. So for those who are not aware, we're doing a clothing and food drive in Boston on Saturday, and then also Rome is also here. So Rome is going to be with us as well. So for some people, this will probably be their first time getting the opportunity to meet Rome. And he's been here before. Like he came here for a tour for the poor. But yeah, this is a big one. Like we do have a lot of clothes, and like when I say we got a lot of stuff, we do have a lot. Thanks to you guys, there were a lot of donations. So I'm happy about that. We have gloves, hats, socks, things that people would need for like the winter, men's clothes, women's clothes, and we also have non-perishable food items. So we will actually be at the Marcus Garvey Center, which is 116 Roxbury Street in Boston. So that's this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
All right. Well, we'll bring that back up towards the bottom of the show, but just wanted to also let you guys know I'm also doing our event. We're at Orlando RBN. We're doing an event. So for Orlando Mutual Aid, you guys can donate $, the Orlando RBN to your Cash App if you guys would like to for that. So we're also raising money for that as well, for grocery gift cards, as well as warm clothes and toiletries as well. So if you guys would like to, you guys can also donate to that, which is also linked in the description below, as well as for Sabby's her event that's coming up this Saturday in Boston. Now, before we begin, I want to give a little disclaimer because I know that some people were looking at the thumbnail and they were like, oh boy, here we go. Here's what I have to say. Make sure. Before we start, I need to say this. If you think this stream is about bashing Jewish people or Arabs and Muslims, this ain't the channel for you, and we will not tolerate that BS. Let's put this out right here. Judaism is not Zionism. Now, there is a lot of talk about people who conflate the two, which they're not. Judaism is a religion. Zionism is a political ideology. There are Zionist Christians, Zionist atheists. Benjamin Netanyahu is a Zionist atheist. Just to let you guys know. And there's Zionist Muslims too. And when we talk about Zionists, we're talking about people like Netanyahu, Trump, Biden, Obama, Pelosi, Matt Gaetz, whoever. They are Zionists. And so just to let you guys know, these are some of the people that we're speaking about when we say Zionists. There are also many anti-Zionist Jewish people who are against the illegal occupation and apartheid in Palestine. There are many beautiful Jewish people who show peace and love in Judaism, just like there are many beautiful Christians, atheists, Muslims, and many people of other beliefs that show us the beauty in their belief system. And we should not paint every single person because they have a particular ethnicity or if they have a particular religion as all the same. Right. So making sure that I'm putting that out there now so that people won't say that we are being anti-Semitic. And by the way, we don't play that anti-Semitic bullshit. Because if you're saying shit about a particular religion or a particular group of people, especially if they're marginalized, go ahead and get the fuck out now, because we don't play that shit either. Because there are people who are actually anti-Semitic, and I would argue that a lot of people in Washington actually are truly anti-Semitic. They just use Israel as a cover. That honestly, we don't have time for that. So to everybody who's watching, especially to our Arab and Jewish family and people who we're in community with, shout out and love to all of you. All right. So shall we begin?
Let's dive into it.
All right. So hello to everybody that's in the chat. We'll get to the chat in a little bit. Just wanted to show what's going on right now. So there have been trends on TikTok. And what are we talking about? So, were they right or wrong? This is an interesting question. So we have Kanye West and Kyrie Irving both on the thumbnail. The question, though, is were they correct or were they incorrect in their assessment regarding Jewish people? Now, we can start off with Kyrie Irving. If anybody knows, Kyrie Irving is an NBA player. He's the player for the Brooklyn Nets.
He used to play for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go to the sorry, I almost said stream, but the clip. All right, so let me share it right now. And thank you for allowing me to do that in the beginning, Sabs. Appreciate it. All right. So this was over a year ago.
This morning, NBA star Kyrie Irving benched in the wake of tweeting about an anti-Semitic film. The Brooklyn Nets suspending Irving for at least 5 games without pay after he refused to apologize for posting a link to a documentary that denies the Holocaust.
Those falsehoods are unfortunate, and it's not that I don't believe in the Holocaust. I never said that.
Irving deleted the tweet last week, but continued to defend his actions.
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
He's also resisted demands to unequivocally denounce anti-Semitism.
For the record.
So just as a background for everybody, what Kyrie Irving did basically was share a tweet to a movie that basically says that Black people are the real Israelites. And so because he just shared the link to that documentary, a lot of people, especially Jewish people, felt that that was anti-Semitic of him just to share the link to the documentary as well.
Right. But the documentary was on Amazon, from what I understand. I think it was Amazon Prime. And the pushback that some people were giving was that, where's that same criticism for Amazon Prime? Because they're the ones that actually feature the documentary. So that's Jeff Bezos. But there wasn't any criticism that came his way. Yeah.
So Jeff Bezos also should have honestly answered for that as well. If Kyrie had to answer for it, I think Jeff Bezos has some answers to give out as well. So let's continue. Let me start back just a teeny bit. All right, let's go.
For the record, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
Late Wednesday, he and the Nets announced they would each donate $500,000 to anti-hate groups. But late yesterday, after once again refusing to apologize, the team finally had enough, saying Irving is unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. The Anti-Defamation League also speaking out, saying it will refuse Irving's $500,000 donation, tweeting, Kyrie Irving has been given ample opportunity to do the right thing, apologize, and condemn anti-Semitism. He has failed at almost every step along the way. The suspension is well-deserved. Then overnight, Irving backing down and apologizing, saying, I initially reacted out of emotion to being unjustly labeled anti-Semitic instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary.
Irving says he did not intend to disrespect Jewish culture.
Hi.
So the first thing I want to say is that you notice you never see them make people give this type of, they never put this much pressure on people to give this type of apology towards African Americans in this country when they say things against them. And I want to give an example of someone like Mel Gibson. You know, some of the things that Mel Gibson has said, not just privately, but also publicly, which has been, you know, advertised like in the press. Mel Gibson has not been blackballed in Hollywood. He's not been shamed in any type of way. There seems to be no pressure put on him for the comments that he made about Black people. So this is the thing why I said before, and people have to understand also, the ADL is a Zionist organization.
Yeah. And so anybody that offers any criticism of the state of Israel, which is not anti-Semitic at all, any criticism of Israel is considered anti-Semitism by them. And just to let you guys know, when it comes to criticizing the state of Israel, if you are able to say criticizing the state of Israel is anti-Semitic, then by that same token, by that same logic, any criticism whatsoever of the state of Uganda is racist and anti-Black.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't feel that way, right? So the thing is because you're criticizing the state and their actions, just because they're Black doesn't have anything to do with it, right? So
right. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. I have to answer Travers. Travers says they ended his career. Sabby, what are you smoking? No, Mel Gibson. They did not end Mel Gibson's career.
No, his career is still going.
Are you kidding me? Mel Gibson is still making movies. Mel Gibson is still starring in movies. Yeah. So no, they didn't end his career. They ended Rose McGowan's career.
Yeah. Yeah,
because she spoke out against.
She spoke out against Harvey Weinstein.
Yep. And they ended Rose McGowan. They drove her out of Hollywood.
Yeah. So, Mel Gibson he's still up there.
Wasn't he even nominated? There was uproar too because he was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Not too long. It was not too long after he made those statements about Black men. He was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah. They don't. Nah. Yeah. But so let me go to the article regarding Kyrie Irving. So it says Kyrie Irving suspended for anti-Semitic social media post, apologizes. So this was November 4th of last year. So it says the Brooklyn Nets suspended Kyrie Irving for at least 5 games without pay. Dismissed by his repeated failure to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. Hours after Irving refused to issue an apology that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver sought for posting a link to an anti-Semitic work on his Twitter feed, the Nets said that Irving is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. He said, "We were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie refused to unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs or acknowledge specific hateful material of the film. This was not the first time he had the opportunity, but failed to clarify," the Nets said in a statement. Sabs, let me ask you this question. Where was all this smoke for that owner of that football team that everybody found out that he was at the high school where they were bullying Black students? I forgot his name. Was it Jerry something?
Oh, Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones, yeah. What was all that smoke for Jerry Jones?
Well, I mean, it doesn't help when you have other people like Stephen A. Smith making excuses for Jerry Jones, which is what he did. He made excuses for Jerry Jones on ESPN. So when you have Black sports commentators defending Jerry Jones, that doesn't help. But again, they're defending him because they want to keep their spot.
Sad.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Like I said, where was this same type of energy towards Jeff Bezos? Where was the same energy towards like Amazon for by the way, the documentary is still there. The documentary is still on Amazon Prime. So
because Jeff Bezos, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, here's my thing. If you're going to be against anti-Semitism, if you're going to be against anti-Semitism, then call out the people who are also still doing it, who are way up there in the upper echelons of industry, like Jeff Bezos, right? Because apparently it's like, okay, if a black man does it, right? Let's say hypothetically it is anti-Semitism. Then why don't you have that same vitriol to somebody like Jeff Bezos? Why don't
These
you
are
have
all
that?
good points.
Yeah, like for instance, why don't you have that same vitriol to people who seem to be sympathetic to people like Donald Trump? Like, why is the Israel lobby so cool with Donald Trump? Because wasn't this the same guy that said about the people in Charlottesville saying there's good people on both sides? And weren't these the same guys that said Jews will not replace us?
Yep.
So
These
why in the world are Zionists go ahead and say, well, they're going to give Donald Trump a pass?
These are all good points, JB. These are questions that people need to ask. These are all questions that people need to ask. Why were they okay with Donald? By the way, Donald Trump hasn't been canceled.
Because if I would call anybody anti-Semitic, it would be Donald Trump. I would call Joe Biden anti-Semitic too. Because just because you're cool with the state of Israel doesn't mean you're still not anti-Semitic. Because
That's
they're
right.
literally massacring Semites, over 11,000 of them so far.
That's right. Because again, we have to remind people Palestinians are Semites. If you look up the definition of Semites, that includes Palestinians.
So there's a lot of anti-Semitic people that support the state of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not mince words here, right? Of course, some of them are the Democratic Party. And last night, what the police did at the behest of the Democratic Party against a bunch of anti-Zionist, peaceful protesting Jewish people, that's anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about Jewish people. They don't. God. They make me sick, man. Both these parties, both Republican and Democratic parties, they don't actually care about Jewish people. Jewish people are a pawn to them. Just like black people are a pawn to them.
Yep. Oh,
Anywho.
you said it. You said it. I didn't, but yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that's the truth.
They will use marginalized groups to no end. All right, so it says Irving finally did apologize in an Instagram post for not explaining specific beliefs he agreed and disagreed with when he posted the documentary. And that was his apology. He says his reluctance to do so earlier Thursday came hours before the FBI said it had received credible information about a broad threat to synagogues in New Jersey, Irving's home state. And in Florida on Saturday, the phrase, quote, Kanye is right about the Jews was projected on the outside of one of the end zones at the TIAA Bank Field Stadium in Jacksonville during the Florida-Georgia football game, a reference to recent anti-Semitic comments that the music mogul, formerly known as Kanye West, has made on social media in interviews that led him to losing partnerships with Adidas and several other companies. So that brings us to Kanye.
Can I just add something really quick about the Kyrie situation?
Please, Kyrie, go ahead.
What I thought was really messed up is the fact that some of his own colleagues in the NBA did not support Kyrie Irving. Whether they believed what he was trying to say or not, they didn't defend him. They didn't support him. Shaquille O'Neal threw him right under the bus. He's another sellout. So it seemed like to me like Kyrie Irving just kind of stood alone. And that's very sad. And but again, this all goes back to capitalism, though, JB, because I really believe a lot of them didn't stand up for Kyrie because they didn't want to lose their own spot.
No, they didn't. And my thing is like, if you feel that what Kyrie did was anti-Semitic, okay, right? But have that same smoke for Jeff Bezos and Amazon for having it up in the first place. You know, it's like it's basically because you got to remember, you know, players of the NBA are workers.
Yes.
You know, they don't necessarily own the means of production. No, they just are higher paid workers that, you know, basically use their bodies day in and day out, just like football players. You know, they're not, you know, unless they own, you know, something and own a, you know, the means of production, they're not capitalist. You know what I mean? So
Unless they own the team, they don't, you know, they're still workers.
Yeah, they're still workers. So good point, Sabs. So let's go into Kanye. And then I have a question about it.
What's up, Ye? The fallout continues for Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, whose recent anti-Semitic comments have caused public outrage. This morning, Adidas, which helped make the rapper's Yeezy shoe and clothing line a multi-billion-dollar business, severed ties with him. Major blow to his brand and bottom line, putting his career in jeopardy. The company's decision comes just a few days after Ye taunted Adidas on the Drink Champs podcast.
I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what? Now what?
Adidas' decision caused Ye to lose $1.5 billion in net worth in one day.
Corporations, you know, just don't want to touch and engage and be in partnership with someone who spews such anti-Semitic rhetoric and ideology that is coming forward. So as a result, I don't know where Kanye West goes in terms of building corporate partnerships from here.
Earlier this month, Ye was suspended from Twitter, where he has millions of followers after tweeting that he was going to go, quote, DEFCON 3 on Jews.
Exactly what our culture is based on.
Around the same.
Hang on. Let me see that tweet really quick.
Yeah, because this is kind of similar to what Kyrie said, if you guys can read the tweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because his second sentence says, the funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are actually Jew also. That's what he said.
This.
Also next.
Similar to Kanye.
Kyrie.
Or Kyrie, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I noticed that. So hang on. Let's keep going.
Exactly what our culture is based on.
Around the same time, on-air clips of Ye's interview with Fox's Tucker Carlson, obtained by Vice News, made rounds on the internet. In one, he plays off the false anti-Semitic belief that Jews control the world's financial system.
I prefer my kids' new Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering.
The tricky thing about anti-Semitism for a lot of people is that it is subtle and insidious by design.
He has repeatedly invoked a series of hateful and vicious stereotypes against Jewish people, and he has engaged in the kind of rhetoric that can lead to real-world violence.
This past weekend, members of a neo-Nazi group unfurled banners about the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, one of the nation's busiest highways. Other images show the demonstrations giving the Nazi salute.
I think we are seeing a spike in anti-Semitism, or at least a rise. This often happens at times of great tension in our society. I blame the Jews.
One of the things that I think that needs to be put to rest is that one of the things he shared, and I didn't particularly pull up that clip because number one, we could get a copyright claim, and I don't want to get a copyright claim. But another thing is it could be flagged by YouTube. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that he did was he shared on his phone this table, this table of, it's supposedly like all the people who, you know, run the financial system and Hollywood and the music industry and all these other things. And supposedly pointing out that they're all Jewish, right? First of all, in your opinion, when Kanye West says that the Jews basically run it all, isn't he mistakenly, like, is really a issue of semantics? Or because it feels like he got it wrong.
So it didn't help that Kanye made the statement that he thought that Hitler was a good guy or something similar to that he also said around that time. But I think what he was referring to was Zionism. So I think, sometimes there's been a couple of situations where Kanye, I feel like he doesn't stop and think about what he's going to say first before he says it. Just like that time when he was on TMZ and he said that slavery was a choice. It's things like that. Like he doesn't stop and think about what he's going to say, and he just kind of blurts things out. And then it's like, people are like, whoa, what are you talking about? But I think what he was trying to refer to was Zionism.
Yeah. And just to go and share about what you were referring to also, because Kanye really just stepped in it when he did this. And this was back in 2013. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Kanye was wrong for this. So it says, reported Kanye drew swastikas, praised Hitler often in early Adidas meetings. So it says Adidas could have seen Kanye's anti-Semitic rants coming. During one of his first meetings with the company 11 years ago, he reportedly drew a swastika on a shoe sketch. Shortly after signing with the German sneaker giant in 2013, employees presented a bunch of shoe sketches to Kanye, which he did not like, and in response, he picked up a marker and drew a swastika over one of the sketches, according to the New York Times. Says that move shocked everyone in the room, especially because the meeting was reportedly going down close to Nuremberg, where Nazis infamously stood trial for crimes after World War II.
There's hypocrisy there. I got to call out in reference to Adidas, though. I don't know if everyone knows the history about Adidas, but the two founders of Adidas, Adi and Rudy, were members of the Nazi Party.
That's also true. It says Kanye set the bar with the move, though, because the New York Times report claims in future meetings he advised a Jewish Adidas manager to kiss a picture of Adolf Hitler every day, and repeatedly told other Adidas employees what a master marketer Hitler was and praised his command of propaganda. So it says, keep in mind, Adidas remained in the Yeezy biz for nearly 10 years and made a ton of money with Kanye until last year, when he started publicly spewing his anti-Semitic beliefs. So it was fine with Adidas as long as he kept it quiet. They're cool with being in community and business with the anti-Semite as long as he keeps it under wraps.
Yeah, there's another little. So these are just funny things I've learned along the way. Also in reference to Adidas, I saw the movie Air. It's about Michael Jordan getting the contract with Nike, or actually Nike trying to get Michael Jordan for the contract for the Air Jordan sneaker, right? Okay. Did you guys know, because I did look this one up, because I was like, how much of this is true? How much is not true? Did you know that one of the reasons why Michael Jordan and his family, because his mom was with him, one of the reasons why they did not go with Adidas was because of the history of Adidas and the Nazi Party.
Wow.
I kid you not. That's a family business, guys. That business has been kept in the family all this time. So that's one of the reasons why they did not go with them.
Wow. That's crazy. All right, let's continue. Remember this whole face mask debacle? Dear God. Oh boy, needs some help. The Adidas have reportedly tripled Kanye's salary during the 2016 contract negotiation, but had a morals clause in the deal, perhaps because it was by then well aware of his affinity for Hitler and the Nazis. Says the company used that morals clause to cut all ties with him in 2022, which Adidas said it would end up costing it $1 billion in revenue. It also bumped Kanye out of billionaire status. Adidas really should have thought about that when he was first in those meetings and drew that swastika.
Right. But I mean, I think that it's like, if you don't own anything, this is why I said, like, a lot of people that we don't consider to be like workers just because they're wealthy, they're still workers if they don't own anything. Now, from what I understand, didn't Kanye own like a clothing line or something like that? But I think it may have been, Adidas may have had a hand in that as well. I mean, it's like, you may think you have control that you don't really have. And I think that Kanye, when he made that statement and he said that he could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas wouldn't drop him, I think that, that was him trying to be cocky, and lo and behold, Adidas was like, yeah, we're done. Bye.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, that's another example of him not thinking before he makes statements. But I think that Kanye thought that he was more powerful than he actually was. And then all it took was for that statement. And then,
Well, also partially because he's also a black man. But, and it's easier to cut him off than it is somebody who's like a Jeff Bezos, especially a white guy. But
who's a billionaire too.
Yeah, who's a billionaire too. Well, Kanye was a billionaire.
I think he had just reached billionaire status, and then
he just reached billionaire status though. But back to the point is, when Kanye talks about the people who run Hollywood, the financial sector, the people who are in music and all these different industries, I don't think that he actually has the knowledge that it's Zionists, not Jews. You know what I'm saying? Because as we, I've stated on my channel before, you stated on your channel before, not all Zionists are Jews and not all Jews are Zionists.
Right. There are Christian, I was going to say there's Christian Zionists like Hakeem Jeffries, Richie Torres. Those are Christian Zionists, right? They're not Jewish. They're Yep. So it's
And the thing is that there's actually more Zionist Christians than there are Zionist Jewish people.
Right. And people have to understand too, with the ADL, this is why some people stop taking the ADL, I think, seriously, is just because it's like, basically they now own the definition of, or they own like the power of saying what is anti-Semitic and what isn't. That one organization.
Yeah. And so as far as, them being able to determine that, they can say, anybody that says from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, then they can say, oh my God, that's anti-Semitic. But here's the funny part. You can say from the river to the seas, Palestine will be free, but they don't ever say anything about from sea to shining sea, and how indigenous people can actually say, well, that is anti-indigenous.
Oh.
Because technically, from sea to shining sea is actually anti-indigenous.
Oh. I never thought about that.
And there's tons of anti-indigenous monuments. Like, for instance, look at Mount Rushmore is an anti-indigenous monument.
Yes.
Because you literally defaced a sacred mountain to put your white supremacist leaders on the face of it.
That's a really good point, Jaybe, that I never really thought about before. But honestly, I will tell you another thing. I think that those of us that are Americans, I think we need to be thankful that indigenous people have not risen up like that. I mean, and part of that I think has to do with the fact that Europeans killed most of them.
Yeah.
That's why they're such a small, very small part of the US population. Like it's very, very small.
Well, especially look, can we talk? Can we talk? All right. White people in this country better thank their goddamn lucky stars that the indigenous people didn't rise up like Palestinians are doing right now, because they actually have the right to do so by international law. Because guess what? Somebody who was indigenous, they said that Gaza, you can say it's an open air concentration camp, but Gaza is also a reservation.
Mm-hmm.
So, by that metric, by that logic, there's a bunch of Gazas in the United States too. So, look, can we talk? Can we talk? Because the thing is that if we're going to talk about settler colonialism, but yet, and if you stand with the Palestinians, but yet you scoff at land back here, are you really standing with the indigenous people?
Not to mention, one of the agreements was that, like, with the reservations, the U.S. government is not supposed to touch that land, but they've still been, implementing pipelines into sacred indigenous communities.
Mm-hmm.
So they still go around it anyway. And it's not just the U.S. government, also Canada. Because the indigenous people, like, that was all of North America, putting Mexico in this box too, all of North America. So the thing is like, this is why I say these things are similar. Europeans came to North America, they colonized parts of North America, but eventually that colonization spread, right? So when they came here, the Pilgrims came and they moved to, New England, what became New England. They didn't just stop there and say, okay, we're all set, we have our space. No, colonizers, the goal is to spread, is to acquire as much land as possible. Mm-hmm. So how is that any different from when the Israelis came into what was Palestine at that point in time? 1940 came in 1948 and started to colonize parts of Palestine, basically to the point where, and kicking the Palestinian people out their homes to the point where, like you said, they put the Palestinian people in what would be considered like reservations.
Yeah. What was it? Oh my God. The water protectors that were fighting against the U.S. government when they tried to build a pipeline.
Standing Rock?
I'm sorry. Standing Rock. Standing Rock is just the U.S. version of what's going on in the West Bank and Palestine right now, because if you think about it, they were trying to build a pipeline to go through it. What is Israel trying to do in Gaza? They're trying to clear out the Palestinians so they can build that canal.
That's right.
So what's the difference? Like, it all comes down to settler colonialism. Now, in regards to what Kanye said, I honestly do think that Kanye, first of all, needs to educate himself on, what's actually going on in regards to capitalism and settler colonialism and things like that. Also, while we're at it, yes, there are Black people that are Jewish, right? There are Ethiopian Jews. There's Jews from Africa that are in Palestine, Israel. There are Black people that are there, yes, and there are some Black people who probably have Jewish blood in them, no doubt about it. But just because you're Black doesn't mean every single part of you is Jewish. And Black people are there's some Black people that are constantly trying to say that we're Jewish, or there's this whole thing like saying that every Black person is part of the tribes of Israel, or you'll have Black people trying to erase the indigenous people in this country and say, oh, we're the original indigenous people. I'm like, which one is it? Because as far as I'm concerned, I checked my DNA. I am a third Nigerian. I'm not going to walk away from my Africanness. It's weird.
Okay. I see Nigeria's in the house, JB.
Yes, Nigerian.
I did not know. I didn't know. That's interesting. So you know exactly where, because I know people that have done those tests before, but they didn't know exactly which country. Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is that it's and here's the thing. Like a lot of times, you know, you get like for instance, I was at the Free Palestine March a couple weeks back, right? Who were on the sidelines taunting the Free Palestine marchers? It was the Black Israelites. They were taunting. Like, do you guys not realize that according to Zionists, you guys don't have rights either?
That's right. But that's all those countries in the Middle East, by the way. It's not just what's left of Palestine. It's also Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. I would add Saudi Arabia too. I think they just don't mess with Saudi Arabia as much because Saudi Arabia is very powerful and is a supposed ally of the United States. And then also Egypt as well. It's all the Arab countries in the Middle East. So this doesn't just stop at, Palestine. The goal, according to this is Netanyahu's own words, the goal is to create a greater Israel. So the goal is to expand into parts of the other Arab countries. And that is so that Israel can have control over the oil.
Yep. And the thing is like, yeah, there are probably some people who, who are Black Israelites or call themselves the Black Hebrews, who might have a claim, right? But it's not all of us who are African, right? And so some of us just don't have that link, and that's okay. It's like it doesn't make you any less than to not be the chosen people of God, right? It doesn't make you less than, right? It doesn't make you less than to not be from the indigenous in this country. Some of us may have some of that claim, some of us may not. But the thing is like, why are we erasing our Africanness just to be a part of another group? That's something that honestly just like flabbergasts me, right? Like, I am being proud of my Africanness, just like I'm proud of other parts of me as well. Like, there are parts of me that are also European for obvious reasons.
Right.
I'm not happy how it came about though.
Well, again, if I want to go back to the religious aspect of it, people say, well, that's where the Holy Land is, according to the Bible. And I'm like, according to which Bible? Which version? King James Version? The Hebrew version? Like, which one? And which one is the one that is correct? And correct by who? According to who? Like who? Because I can tell you guys from experience growing up in the church, at least for Christianity, the Old Testament was kind of like, and you probably know this well, JB, like, I don't know how it is for Jehovah's Witnesses, but for a lot of the churches, like the Old Testament is like, okay, this is what happened before, but we go by the New Testament, right? So again, that's why I'm like, according to who? Everybody got a different book. Like Mormons have their book, right? So I mean, it's Christians have their book, but even with the Holy Bible, there are different versions of the Holy Bible. So which one you talking about? And then it's like, so this is the thing I always said before about religion. I do not believe that religion should control a state. I don't believe that. I support separation of church and state for this very reason, because it's like, who decides what the religion is going to be and which text are you referring to in reference to the religion? And it also takes away some of the rights of the people and for people to have some type of free will.
Can we talk about Vatican II?
Let's go for it.
Because the thing is like, look, Vatican should not be a state that's ran, by a religion.
No. Like this is why, like, listen, remember what happened in Europe, right? Like, what was one of the reasons why Europeans fled Europe and came to North America? They were fleeing religious persecution. So you would think people would have learned like from that. The other thing I would mention too, in reference to Britain being the one to make the decision of, okay, let's go ahead and make a safe place for Jewish people. Let's choose Palestine. And it wasn't just Palestine they were looking at. They also looked at countries like you mentioned before, like Uganda. So it just seemed like to me, Britain, once again, which is one of the ultimate colonizers in the world, they're the ones who once again made the decision to replace indigenous people with other people. And my thing was, since Germany was the one that committed the crime, why didn't they designate a space in Germany for Jewish people to be safe? Why? Because that means you have to displace Europeans. So Britain didn't want to do that. But Britain was fine with possibly displacing Africans and then eventually displacing Arab nations.
Yeah.
Let's really think about this for a second. How does Britain get to decide, hey guys, I know you've been living here for a while, but check this out. Some things are about to change. How many countries, if we think about how many countries across the world did Britain colonize, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many countries does Britain owe reparations to?
Britain owes a lot of reparations.
Like, it's just a very backward society if you think about it. You think about the fact that Haiti actually had to pay reparations to France.
That's crazy.
They made Haitians pay reparations to the colonizer.
That's wild. And I'm gonna be honest with you, what the Europe did to the Jewish people, and trying to basically, Europe just didn't want Jewish people around them anymore. That's why they were like, okay, yeah, you guys can go over there and have your own state. And I'm of the opinion that Jewish people should be able to live wherever they want as long as they're not, taking other people's land. But they should be able to live wherever they want in peace and in happiness, right? So if they want to go back to the Holy Land and live amongst the Palestinians, cool. If they want to stay in Europe and live there, cool. But the Europeans, a lot of them, they chased them out because they just didn't want them around.
What is the other thing too?
It's sad because the thing is that that's the most anti-Semitic thing you can do, is chase them out the way they did and kill them during the Holocaust. Like, my God, like,
yeah, but I just want to make a comparison here as well. Like, think about the 400 years of chattel slavery in this country, and nothing has been given to African American descendants of slavery for 400 years of that. Then you follow that with Jim Crow. Then you follow that with the crime bill and incarceration and the drug war and all that stuff. Nothing has been promised or given to African American descendants of slavery. Where's supposed to be our space, our safe place? Nobody designated a safe place for African Americans. This is something people really need to think about. We didn't get any type of reparations. So when people say that they want to talk about, like, no, we can't give cash reparations to African American descendants of slavery because it's divisive, or because that wouldn't be fair to everybody else, they didn't have any problem saying that when they gave cash reparations to Japanese Americans that were part of the Japanese internment camps under FDR. And that was given to them under Ronald Reagan, under a Republican president. It's every other group, Jaybe. It's every group gets something. Germany paid reparations to the Jewish people, which I felt like they should have done, because that was Germany's sin. But what I'm saying is, why is it that when it comes to every other group, particularly in this country, people can make up the reason for why they should be paid some type of debt towards them? But when it comes to African American descendants of slavery in this country, every time you bring it up, people say it's divisive, or no, you need to do it for everybody. Fuck that. Nobody said do it for everybody when the Japanese Americans got cash reparations, okay? Nobody. This is the thing. So I want people to seriously start thinking about this very carefully and start asking these damn questions. Where's the safe place for African Americans supposed to be? We don't get anything. We want to talk about a birthright. Do we get to have a birthright to Africa? No.
No, not really.
Do we get a free trip, all expenses paid, for us to go to Africa and learn about our ancestry and our family? No.
Is there an African lobby that can control politicians? Because
these are just things people really got to start asking these questions. And so that's why I get so angry at people like Hakeem Jeffries and Richie Torres, because they won't even, there's supposed to be some type of representation. That includes Jim Clyburn as well. There's supposed to be some type of representation, but they are all funded by AIPAC. They are more willing to defend the Zionist state than they will defend some type of rights for their own people in this country. That's a problem.
Yeah. And the thing is like, maybe the African governments would do it if they could afford it, but they're so busy paying the IMF and the World Bank that they can't. And the thing is that the United States has their hand in their governments and puppet governments. Like, hell, look at what's going on in Congo, Rwanda, Sudan, Uganda. Look what's going on there. Of course, the United States and Western countries have these, people as puppets in order to do whatever they want. So they can't really afford to even do birthright for those of us who are African descent because they can't afford it.
And this is why now you see some African Americans really upset with Joe Biden, because now they are given certain privileges and rights to migrants who are coming into the United States. Again, we take it back to the source of the problem. The US government destroyed those countries, stole their resources. That's why they are coming here. But the thing is, how you going to give them something that you won't even give the Black people who were born here? That's why you hear more. Yeah, that's why you hear Black people in Chicago, those residents, that's why you hear them speaking out against what Joe Biden is allowing to happen. It's every group except for us. We are always the ones that are either left out or at the bottom.
Can we talk about the Ukrainian refugees that were able to come here?
Yeah.
They were able to come. And yet people like Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are saying, oh, well, we don't want Gaza, Palestinians from Gaza coming here, blah, blah, blah. Like, what? You guys were able to allow Ukrainians coming here, and Ukraine literally has a Nazi problem.
They were offered free admission to historically Black colleges here in the United States, you guys.
Also, while we're at it, and we're talking about Zionists and how they can be anti-Semitic, Joe Biden is literally funding and arming Nazis in Ukraine. Joe Biden does not care about Jewish people.
No.
Let's be real. So if anybody's like, oh my God, Joe Biden is on our side. No, he's not. He never was on your side, baby. Donald Trump was never on your side.
No, Jaybe, it is what it is. But you're right. This isn't even about, put it this way, guys, when it comes to the US government, don't ever believe that they actually care about these people or any people. They don't care about the people. They care about resources. They care about money.
Yep. And of course, if you look back at history, and I'll get to the comments in the chat in a second. If you look back at history, Operation Paperclip, that shows that the United States government never actually cared about the disenfranchised. And they not only didn't care about Jewish people, but they also didn't care about LGBTQ people, because remember, LGBTQ people were also in the Holocaust and they wore the pink triangle. They didn't care about Jehovah's Witnesses. They wore the purple triangle. They did not care about black people who were killed in the Holocaust. They didn't care about German people who were killed in the Holocaust, who resisted, who were communists. They didn't care about them either. So the United States really is being ran. It's being ran by the people who dislike Jews the most. Let's just be real. And it's still being ran like that down to this day.
All right, Jaybe, I got a jet.
All right, Sabs. I will read the rest of the chat and we will get this party.
Went by so fast.
Oh, by the way, what are you talking about tonight?
Oh, I'm talking about Nancy Pelosi trying to use Barack Obama in defense of Joe Biden. Oh, this is going to be really good. That's probably about to be one of my favorite stories tonight. And there's a couple other ones. I don't remember everything. It's on my thing, but I am going to cover the DC protest too that happened last night that Chuck Modi and Afeni were there for. I'm going to cover those as well.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try to cover that on Saturday, but yeah. All right. And also your event on Saturday, let people know, because some people didn't hear at the beginning.
116 Roxbury Street. 116 Roxbury Street. You follow me on Twitter. I usually share it like at least a couple times a week. So I'll share it again tomorrow in Boston. Bye.
All right. Take care, Sabs. Take care. Have a good one. All right. So let me check on the Rockfin side just to see what other people are saying. I know y'all got a lot to say. All right. Ooh. Let's do it. All right. So let me share the screen. All right. All right. Hempcar says the transhumanists like Zoltan want to end the world with nukes. Okay. Why didn't Kanye say Zionist? Why did MJ say the K word? And they don't. Oh, I never really listened to that song before. I never sat down to actually listen to it. You see, DB says, JB, I hope you don't mind the personal comment, but you look so slim lately. Yeah, I've been trying to lose a few pounds. Thank you so very much, DB. Let me see. Roger Meadows, thank you so much for the tip. He says, Mel did get in trouble for comments in regards to Jews, though. More trouble than he got into with black people. Then right after that, he produced a movie called Apocalypto. Listen, if you black and you getting money, do yourself a favor. Spend low, stack paper. So when that day comes, you have a safety net. Shit, $3 million in the bank will give $300,000 in savings interest if you can live off of. Thank you so much for the other tip. He says, Kanye's still rich, though. Can't sympathize. Despite knowing 4 years Palestinian struggle, what October 7th did for me was get an education from you millennials on the word Zionist. That was the word we should have been using all this time. But like Russ from Do Dissidents said, it was embedded into Judaism teachings. Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers are the only teams cooperatively owned, not by the workers, but by the fans. He continues, says, like I told you, Sab, Def Jam was started by a Jewish guy, Rick Rubin, not Russell Simmons. With that said, how were Run DMC ever able to rock Adidas? Oh, that's a good question. Even made a song. Yeah, my Adidas. Oh my gosh. We wore them like it was going out of style. Star Spangled Banner's lost lyric regarding runaway slaves. Will pursue you to get revenge. No refuge could save the hireling enslaved from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true. Oh, Thank you very much for that, Roger. Yikes. All right. So thank you for the super chat. Ray Foley says, good conversation. Thank you so very much. Jinho Choi says, Adidas is an abbreviation of Adolf Dassler, who was a Jewish German member of the Nazi Party. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, Media Dreams, thank you so much for the super chat. Says they always look at Asians as superior. It pisses me. Okay. I don't know what that's about, but thank you very much for the super chat. Egg64 says migrants come into sanctuary cities is purely political and to garner the Latino that votes 50-50 blue and red to counter the black vote they're losing. Oh, by the way, Ukrainians get preferred choice if you apply for a job online. I didn't know they got preferred employment status. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Rich Buddy says Armenia is being destroyed right now. So, oh, damn. There's so many countries that are going through it right now, especially because of imperialism. Wow. Let me see. Oh, yeah. This is also true. Black Unit Griffin says they also targeted the handicapped, like disabled people like myself. Yeah. So they targeted us too in the Holocaust. Mm. Let me see. And he said Armenia was 70% occupied last year. I wouldn't be surprised going through. There's a lot of us, these countries are going through illegal occupation, especially by imperialist powers. Jay Blue says at the end of the day, selected, not elected. That's true. Oh, Eric T. Red said big day of protest. Oh, damn, I got dialysis tomorrow, so I won't be able to do any protesting. Shoot. But solidarity with everybody who's going down there. So yeah, as far as what's going on right now, I just really think that, oh wait, Roger says forgot Run DMC was Profile Records, not Def Jam. Oh, okay, yeah. Wait, didn't they start Def Jam after? Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, let me see. And like I said, you know, with all the people who are speaking out, like Jewish Voices for Peace, people like Chuck Modiano and Lee Camp, Eleanor Goldfield, Medea Benjamin, Katie Halper, all the people who are Jewish who are speaking out against, you know, what's going on and using their voice. Solidarity with y'all, man, because, you know, you guys got to deal with the Zionists on one side, but you also have to deal with anti-Semitism on the other side, and that's tough too. So just stay strong, keep, you know, fighting for the oppressed, and don't let them get you down. You know, just like, you know, those of us who are Black, you know, we have to fight against oppression too. So yeah, stay strong. Oh boy. Anyways, so I'm gonna head out. Plus I gotta eat. Only thing I've eaten today was peanuts and wait, what did I have this morning? Whatever. It's not that important. Anyway, let me check the rock just to take care. Yeah, I gotta get going. But love you guys. And before I go, this Saturday, I'm going to be having on Professor Anthony Zinkus at noon. We're going to be talking about the latest news stories. Also, I want to get a little bit of his history too. That I think I'd be interested in knowing that. And also, I'll be putting out a bunch of clips. I have so many clips I have to put out. So I'll be doing that as well. Stay tuned on my channel. Oh, and by the way, while you're at it, if you're still here, thank you so very much. We're doing fundraising for our graphics designer, Aaron. You guys can go to Venmo at Revolutionary Blackout or Cash App $ Mutual Aid Forever. And shout out once again to Aaron. Hopefully things are on the positive upswing for you. Hearts to you as well. And also, if you guys have not, you guys can donate to Orlando Mutual Aid. You guys can go to Cash App at $ Orlando RBN. We're trying to raise $3,000. So if anybody is watching, they want to, you guys can do that as well. I will share the link as well in the chat, just in case anybody would like to donate as well to help out what we're doing here in Orlando. So thank you so very much. All right. So love you guys. Be kind to one another. And by the way, don't support settler colonialism and stand with all the oppressed people. I mean, all the oppressed people. You know, do not be selective in that. Oh, and forehead kisses. Why? Because we just turned this into the Jaybe show. I know. Love you. Anywho, bye-bye, everybody. Deuces, peace. Tune in to Sabby in 45 minutes. Bye-bye. Sorry, guys, I forgot. I didn't see this, but my apologies. Black Dysfunction, thank you so very much for the super sticker. I don't want to miss this because unfortunately it didn't start automatically like it was supposed to. And Tolares121 says, and no reps for Freedman Bank Cluster F. Got the GI Bill exclusion during World War II or excluding Black people from the 30s Fed housing help to add to your list. Thank you so very much to Tolares121. My dearest apologies. I did not mean to miss that. It didn't automatically start like it was supposed to. And yeah, so if I hopefully I don't think I missed any more super chats. So thank you so very much to everybody for tuning in. Yeah, I missed that one. My bad. Sorry.